Welcome to Hughes Performance Tech Talk. I'm your host Pete Nichols, and we're continuing our Powerglides 101 series today. We're going to be talking about the Powerglide band adjustment. So this is some information that ties in well with our previous episodes on the direct drum, the servo assembly, and the Powerglide band. So you want to make sure you check all those so you're up to speed on all those individual components and how they interrelate to each other. We did not speak specifically about band adjustment in any of those episodes because it's really worthy of its own episode, mostly because it's one of our most frequent questions from racers and enthusiasts alike is, how do I adjust my Powerglide band? How often should I be adjusting it, etc., etc. So our intention is to answer that in video form here today. If this is your first time checking us out, we really appreciate you tuning in. And if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing and make sure to hit that bell on your right corner so that you're getting notifications as we do have weekly uploads. So moving into the subject material, we have a Powerglide transmission here. It is completely assembled, less the valve body, filter, and pan. And we want you to be able to see the band adjustment in action. So your band is riding around the direct drum inside the case in this area. You have your band adjuster screw that's threaded into the case here on the driver's side for US vehicles anyway. And then you have your band anchor. You can see the band here and here. You have your band strut, and then you have your servo apply pin. So if you're unfamiliar with any of those terms, again, go back and check out our previous episodes on these components so that way you can see them all in exploded format and have a better understanding of what these parts are and how they work. So the band adjuster screw is what sets your band adjustment, and it's a 7/32 Allen head or socket head inside the band adjuster screw. And then you have an 11/16 lock nut that threads onto the outside of the screw. I'll show that there so viewers get a good picture of that. So basically, whether you're adjusting your band as part of your preventative maintenance program for your race car, or you're building your own Powerglide and you're setting your initial band adjustment, once you have these components in the case and all set up, T-handle 7/32 comes in very handy for this. You just insert it into the socket head of the band adjuster screw, and you should be able to see the band anchor moving up and down here as I turn that screw in and out. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and seat the band adjuster screw just lightly by hand. Then you want a inch-pound torque wrench, not foot-pound, inch-pound, and you're going to torque the band adjuster screw to 80 inch-pounds. Some builders go 72 inch-pounds. I believe that's the original General Motors spec. Don't quote me on that. If you like 72 inch-pounds, that's fine. We do them to 80 here just because it's an even round number, and the difference between 72 and 80 inch-pounds really isn't going to have any effect or impact on the band adjustment. So we're just going to tighten that band screw until we get the click out of the torque wrench. There, we've got the click, so it's torqued to 80 inch-pounds. Now that you have all of the components fully seated, the band is fully wrapped and clamped around the direct drum, you can go ahead and take your T-handle, or if you don't have one of these, you can use your socket on a ratchet. And we're going to back out the band screw 3 1/2 turns. That's not 3 half turns, it's 3 full 360-degree turns, plus one additional half 180-degree turn. So we're going to go ahead and back this out. So we're at our 3 1/2 turns. While holding the band adjuster screw from turning, you can go ahead and tighten up the lock nut by hand. And then using your 11/16 wrench, again, while preventing the band screw from turning further, you're going to go ahead and tighten up the lock nut, or some people refer to it as a jam nut. There isn't a specific torque spec on that necessarily. Just snug by hand is all you need. It doesn't take much for it to hold torque because it is a jam nut. It doesn't back off very easily, so you don't have to go He-Man torque on it. And that's your band adjustment. You're done. As far as band adjustment intervals go, generally it's a good idea to check your band adjustment and maintain it. I would say at the bare minimum 2 to 3 times in a single racing season. For extreme high horsepower cars that are putting a lot more strain on the Powerglide components, I actually recommend checking your band adjustment every single racing event. You don't have to do it every pass, but before you go out to the track, or while you're at the track before you make your first run, verifying and readjusting your band. It's so easy to do. It's cheap insurance and good preventative maintenance to ensure that you're getting maximum performance and longevity out of the band. And it's also a good red flag if the band is developing an issue, whether it be wear related or whatever. If you're noticing that it takes significantly more than 3.5 turns to get the band adjustment screw to torque to spec, that's a good indication that the band may have a problem and it's time for a teardown to see what's going on inside your transmission. So definitely can help save you some money in the long run by using this as a simple maintenance checklist item on your race car. In the event you do develop an issue, you can catch it early before you start destroying components. So that's pretty much what there is to band adjustment. I'll roll this over so you can kind of get a visual of how far the band adjuster screw is sticking out. This thread amount that's sticking out, don't take this visual as gospel as far as how yours should look. Depending on the brand of band screw, this threaded portion may be shorter or longer. So when you have it adjusted correctly, as we just highlighted, you may notice more or less threads sticking out. I just want to give you an idea. And that's another good indicator if you have excessive band wear and you're burying this screw into the jam nut and you don't have any thread or hardly any thread sticking out. You may have a worn out band, or you may just have a really short band adjuster screw. As we talked about in previous episodes, it's worth reiterating. Stock band adjuster screws are not the strongest steel material out there. They can bend, and when they bend, they'll bend in this smooth portion. And if you bend a band adjuster screw, you're not going to have adequate clamping force on the band. And you're going to smoke the band when you're in low gear, and then you've burned the tranny up and you're doing an expensive rebuild. So it's well worth the $15, $20, $30, depending on who and where you source it from, to install one of these high strength aftermarket band adjuster screws. We use all Sonics band adjuster screws in our Powerglides, whether it's a stock rebuild all the way up to one of our 3,000 or 4,000 horsepower rated Pro Mod builds. We've never had a Sonics band screw bend. They're dead reliable, they're affordable, everybody has them. It's definitely cheap insurance. There are other companies that make these. ATI makes their own, that's a really good screw. TSI, a whole bunch of others make them. So definitely spend the money on an aftermarket band adjuster screw. The stock ones just belong in your metal scrap bin for recycling. We cover the anchor, the band strut, all of that in the servo episode, so you can tune in there for more details on all those components. We definitely appreciate you watching. If you have any questions about band adjustment or anything else for that matter, definitely hit us up in the comments below. We'll be on there interacting with all of you. We appreciate all of you that comment. We appreciate all of you that subscribe and like and share our videos. We really appreciate you tuning in, and we look forward to engaging with you on the next episode of the series. Thanks for your subscriptions. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. We have daily content going up there. You can find us online at hughesperformance.com. We also have sales and technical staff available on our phone lines at 1-800-274-RACE. That's RACE. And we'll see you later. Thank you.